Hey guys, it's Kaitlyn, and today I'm going to be showing you how I study for college finals. Before we get started, don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe, and comment down below if you turn on that notification bell so I can thank you personally. And with all of that being said, let's just get into the video. So the first step is to order your classes from most attention needed to least attention needed. You can do this roughly by how you did in the class if you're in high school, or if you're in college, you can calculate the percent needed on the final minimum to hit the grade that you want in the class. So if you want a 4.0 in the class and you need a 50% on the final exam minimum to get that, then you'll study way less for that class than you would for a class that needs a minimum of 90% on the final to get that 4.0 in the class. This also prevents productive procrastination, which is what I call doing something productive to avoid studying for classes you need to study for. I do this all the time. I study for classes that I really want to rather than classes that I need to. And if you know the percent you need on the final is really high, then you'll be more likely to study for that class and less likely to procrastinate for it. So this really helps with that. So the next step is to write to-do lists for each class based off of attention needed that you calculated in the first step. So classes that need less attention will have less bullet points and more attention will have more bullet points. So for less attention, I might just read over notes and lectures and highlight key things and then take the practice exam or do the study guide. And then for classes that need more attention, I'll have more bullet points. These might include rewriting lectures or notes if it's old material from the beginning of the semester, making flashcards on Quizlet or hard copy, doing a group study if it's a more conceptual topic, and using whiteboards for the group study, and taking the practice exam and study guide as well because that should be done for every class. The to-do lists are the epitome of my studying and my study schedule. This really helps me keep on track and know what I need to do so I don't waste time trying to figure out what I need to do when and what needs my attention. So the next step is making a study schedule. You can use your to-do list to make these. I either make this in my planner or I draw my own study calendar in my brain dump notebook. This will just ensure that you have goals to meet and you stay on track with your studying, so you still have at least 5 days after you go over the material to just really engrave that stuff in your brain and build those pathways so you do the best on your exam as possible. Just know it's never too late to start a study schedule. Even if you're cramming and you only have 3 days before your exams, you want to make sure you know what you have to prioritize and have that in an organized manner so you can get all of those things done and do the best possible on your exams. The next step is to start on your to-do list. So for this, you'll prioritize your harder classes or classes that have closer exams. You'll really have to balance your priorities here and figure out which bullet points on your to-do list are the most important for each class. You don't have to do a whole class at once. It's okay if you jump around from class to class. That is the most effective way to get the most valuable study time in. You may not completely finish your checklist and know that that's okay. I always make my checklists way more thorough than I need to, just so I always have something to do even if I finish them early. I never finish my checklists because I make them so overambitious. No matter what, your checklists are going to be so important and help you study so much. Now that I told you guys the basic steps that I use to study, I want to give you guys some study tips and tools. I usually rewrite old lecture notes by hand because it's older material from the beginning of the semester. If you typed out your notes, it's really beneficial to write the notes out as well when you're studying because this helps build the pathways in your brain and helps you really retain the material more than if you type it. If you're cramming and you don't have enough time to rewrite all the lecture notes, then reread and highlight your notes for key concepts and then make a master list with bullet points of little concepts or topics that you just really didn't remember or retain that you need to either study further, or just writing the list is actually studying as well. When you make flashcards, you can make them hard copy, or you can use an app called Quizlet, which makes your flashcards and helps you study them as well. So keep in mind that making flashcards is studying, but you want to leave time to go through the flashcards and learn them as well. Memorizing the flashcards is really important. If you use Quizlet, they have little games you can play that really help you retain the information that's on the flashcards. So the best tip that I have for studying things that are conceptual, like a science-based class or something like that, is explaining the concepts out loud. And a bonus is recording yourself, because if you record yourself, you can listen back to those while you're sleeping or on the bus. When you have to explain things out loud, it makes your brain build those pathways and think really hard of what's the best way to explain it. Then if you have something like free response, you have those pathways built of how you explained it, and it'll help you write down those free response answers so well and so much easier. Another thing that I do that I'm not sure if other people do is I use the stopwatch app on my iPhone to time myself. I make sure to take a break every hour, just go on my phone for like 20 minutes. Timing myself helps me prioritize my classes that need more attention. So if I have a 4-hour period to study, I might spend 2 hours on one class that needs a lot of my attention, and then the other 2 hours on 2 other classes that need a lot less attention. Timing myself really helps me keep myself on track, and when I have a timer, I notice that I spend a lot more time on studying and I'm less likely to goof off or get distracted. So timing yourself really helps keep yourself accountable. Now I'm going to give you guys some tips on how to save time when you're studying. If you're cramming, this is really important. So if you're deciding between Quizlet or hand-drawn flashcards, choose Quizlet over the hand-drawn because Quizlet takes a lot less time and you'll have more time to study it thoroughly. Take notes in pencil, not pen. When I use pen, I tend to be more meticulous and try to make my notes perfect, which takes a lot more time than if I do them in pencil. So taking them in pencil really helps me get my notes done quicker and more productively. Make sure you're real with yourself about studying with friends. I know during finals week, it's really fun to suffer together, but studying with friends can be a really big downturn in your studying if you're not productive with your friends. So if you have to study by yourself, then study by yourself. It's really better to just be real with yourself and know who you're going to study well with. The last thing is to make sure that you still take care of yourself during finals week. I know that finals can seem like they're the most important thing in the world and that you need to sacrifice everything to study for these finals. I tend to do that, and I just have to remind myself to eat, drink water, take breaks, and make sure I get enough sleep. It's also important to stick to your usual daily routines. So if you work out in the morning, stay working out in the morning. If you go to bed at 10 p.m., go to bed at 10 p.m., unless you're really desperate, because staying to these usual routines will help you keep a healthy mental state and will help you overall just study better for your finals. Okay guys, that's it for my study tips video. I hope that you guys got some valuable information from this, and I wish you all the best of luck with your finals. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe to become part of the Kaitlyn Films family. I appreciate and love you all so much. I will see you guys next week in another video. Peace out, guys.